Welcome to Stark Raving Social, the podcast for Marcom's pros who want to stay ahead in a world that won't stop changing. Your host is Sherry Lynn Starkey, social media strategist, industry pioneer, and trusted advisor to brands navigating the digital landscape. With decades of experience in marketing, PR, and social media, she's here to bring you the insights, strategies, and conversations you need to stay ahead of the curve. From shifting algorithms to AI-driven content, from crisis comms to culture shifts, if it's shaping the future of our industry, you'll hear about it here. This is Stark Raving Social.
Welcome to Stark Raving Social, the podcast for marketing and communications professionals who want to stay ahead in a world that won't stop changing. I'm Sherry Lynn Starkey, and today we're talking about the new era of social media. If you're still running the same ad campaigns as last year, it's time to rethink because social media is evolving and fast. I recently came across an insightful report from eMarketer, 5 charts that explain the new era for social media, written by Sarah Lebo. It's packed with data that should make every marketer sit up and pay attention. So today, I'm breaking down some of the biggest takeaways from that report and what they mean for you. Alright, let's get into it. One thing is clear, if you're marketing to anyone under 40, social media isn't an option, it's essential. Millennials still make up a massive part of the social media ecosystem, accounting for 30% of users in the US. And Gen Z, they're catching up fast at nearly 25%. But here's the kicker, Gen Z and millennials don't use social the same way. Gen Z is all about TikTok, stories, and authenticity. They hate traditional ads. Millennials, on the other hand, engage more with ads and influencers. So if your strategy lumps these two groups together, you might be missing the mark. Now, let's talk about TikTok. This platform is no longer just another social media app, it's a cultural force. In fact, by 2025, TikTok is expected to surpass Facebook in total minutes spent per day by US adults. Let that sink in for a moment. But before you rush to shift your entire ad budget there, remember that TikTok users don't want traditional ads. They want storytelling, entertainment, and authenticity. That's why influencer collaborations and sponsored posts work so well. That said, there's a catch. TikTok's future in the US is still uncertain. There's talk of a potential ban, but Oracle might be stepping in to keep things running. So, while TikTok is a must-have in your strategy, make sure you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. Speaking of platforms with staying power, Meta is still dominating digital ad spend. Even though users spend just 7.6% of their digital time on Meta's platforms, advertisers allocate 19.5% of their budgets there. Why? Well, part of it is habit, but part of it is also effectiveness. Meta's ecosystem is massive. We're talking Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, WhatsApp, and Threads. And the ads don't just stay within these apps, they follow users across their entire digital experience. It's one of the best value for money options in digital marketing. That said, don't just stick with Meta out of comfort. Use data to guide your spending. If your audience is moving to TikTok or YouTube, make sure you're experimenting there too. Now, let's get into the rise of influencer marketing. The growth of influencer marketing is now outpacing digital ads. People trust people more than they trust brands. That's why influencer content often performs better than traditional ads. But here's the challenge, working with influencers isn't cheap. Some charge over $10,000 per post. And honestly, sinking your budget into 1 or 2 big-name posts isn't a great strategy. Instead, look at partnering with smaller, niche influencers for a long-term collaboration. The key is finding creators whose audience actually aligns with your brand. Now, what about Threads? A lot of people wrote it off after its massive launch followed by a steep drop in daily users. But don't count it out just yet. More and more ex-users are migrating over, and brands that engage in real conversations, not just promotions, are thriving. The best part, there are no ads on Threads yet, and organic reach is still strong. If you play your cards right, it's one of the few places where your brand can get real engagement without paying for it. Some standout brands that are killing it on Threads include Wendy's, Netflix, and, surprisingly, the Transportation Security Administration. Wendy's uses their signature snark to jump into trending conversations, keeping their brand top of mind. Netflix leans into humor and memes to spark interaction instead of relying on traditional promotions. And the TSA, they mix travel tips with meme-worthy content, making security guidelines actually engaging. Threads proves that text-based platforms still have a place. If you know how to use conversation and humor to build community, you'll do well here. So what's the biggest takeaway from all this? Social media is constantly changing. What worked last year won't necessarily work today. The key to success is flexibility. Stay open to new platforms. Experiment with new content formats. Use data, not assumptions, to guide your decisions. The marketers who thrive in this new era will be the ones who adapt. That's it for today's show. I've put a link to the eMarketer report in the show notes, and if you found this helpful, make sure to subscribe and leave a review. It really helps the show grow. And hey, if you're testing out any of these strategies, let me know. Find me on social at Sherilyn and let's talk about it. Until next time, keep innovating, keep experimenting, and keep moving forward. This is Stark Raving Social, and I'm Sherilyn Starkey.
That's a wrap on this episode of Stark Raving Social. Thanks for tuning in. If you got value from today's show, make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you know a fellow comms pro who could use these insights, share the podcast and help them stay ahead in a world that won't stop changing. Until next time, keep learning, keep adapting, and keep making an impact.